What's up, guys? How you doing? It's me, Mr. 4K Upscaler. On this video, I'm going to show you what type of emulators I'm using. First, we're going to start off with Z-SNES-W. You can get all of these emulators from MU Paradise, and I recommend MUParadise.com. That's the best one to go to. Also, to just acknowledge, this video is not about NVIDIA Shield or cell phones or any other device that you can emulate. I know there's a lot of devices out there. I'm aware of them that you can emulate through phone. You can emulate through NVIDIA Shield, to Chromecast, hell, even through Roku. Okay, there's ways you can emulate. I get it. I understand. But that video, I'm not making. This video, it's about for those of you who have laptops. You want to take your laptop with you, okay? Doesn't have to be a super powerful laptop, okay? In order for you to play these old games, you don't need a super powerful laptop. What I'm using here, it's ridiculous, okay? Alienware. You can have something small with an i5 processor, or 8 gigs of RAM will do it. i5 with 8 gigs, it's more than enough, okay, to handle a lot of these things. If you want to step into PlayStation 2, you might want to consider maybe a little bit more of a dedicated graphics, okay? But all in all, you don't need to have a super beefy computer to do so, and that's why I'm making these videos. So now that I have acknowledged that, let's continue. So one cool unique feature about this Z-SNES-W emulator, it really runs smooth, loads really fast. You can configure things out the way you want to. You can go to the video and you can decide what type of resolution would you like to go. I have it at 640 by 480, but I'll put it to the default resolution. I'm gonna go to a I'll go by 720. Honestly, I think the best thing to do is keep it at you can set your custom resolution if you want to. You can do that, which I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. I'm gonna set my own resolution. I'm gonna put the 19 by 20 by 1080. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Because I have a very powerful computer, so my computer here should be able to handle this without any issues. Okay, so it's gonna try to attempt to change this resolution. Let's see what happens. Okay, the video mode has changed, and now we are in 1080p. Now we're upscaling these games to 1080p. Okay, and the resolution should be present here. Custom, right here. When you click on the custom, which should be right over here. Now, the resolution thing, it's obviously you can change it any which way you like. But remember, I would recommend that you leave it at 720p. It runs much better, much smoother at 720p. Me, I have 1080. It does scale it really nicely. But you have to remember, these games weren't designed to be 1080. Okay, what I would do, I would just leave it at their like default resolution. It's going to run much smoother, much better. But if you want to upscale them to 1080, hey, you have that option. Especially if you have a really beefy PC like I do, there shouldn't be a problem. Here you can choose a variety of different features. You can use a gamepad if you want to. You just have to connect your one of your controllers, and you can assign your Xbox One controller to work as Super NES. Okay. So you have that option. It's all right here on this configuration, and this emulator is really good. This is Z-SNES-W, Super Nintendo. And now let's go to loading the game. Here, let me just show you how quickly it loads. Let's go and hit on, let's see. Not the Fighting Master. I got a bunch of games here all mixed up. We can hit the Grand Prix USA. We'll hit on a Grand Prix. I'm going to load it. You see how quickly it loads. It didn't take that much. There it is right there. It loaded up fairly quickly. Now you can use a keyboard if you like, and you can play this with your keyboard, or you can use your joystick, or you can use your controller. There's certain adapters you can connect your original S-NES controller to the PC, so there's a lot of configurations you can do on the PC. Alright. Alright, so now you can see when it's being upscaled to 1080p, it looks a little bit better, a little bit, you know, smoother. And I'm also using my GPU, obviously, to render this. This is the GP Grand Prix. I'll put my name here. Oh, it doesn't matter, any kind of name will do it. Okay, let's continue, because I only have a little bit of time here to do this. I only have 20 minutes. Okay, let's qualify. I'm just showing you quick little demos. I'm not going to play through all these games. I might do this on the live stream. Alright, so let's do this really quick. I'm going to use my keyboard. I'm going to start this. As you can see, there's no lag. It runs pretty smooth. Like I said, if you have a really good PC, you should definitely go ahead and use the 1080p option here, because you're definitely going to be getting a little bit smoother. You're going to lose a little bit of those jagged edged lines because you have that 1080p scaling here. By the way, this is a very hard game. It was supposed to be a simulation back then. You know, this is like, they considered this game a simulation back then. Anyway, there you go. You see it. Let's go. Let me jump into a Commodore 64. Let me show you how to load up tape 1 and tape 2 cassettes on a Commodore 64. We'll go with the Predator. I'm going to show you how to do this step. Alright, so as you can see, I have my Commodore here, 64 emulator ready. The one that I'm using, it's the version 1.09. It's HOXS 64 C-64 emulator. You have to choose one that says tape on it, okay? Because that's what they were using back in the days, the tapes. So this is how you do it. You click on auto load. Now, when you do download these games, you're gonna have to unzip them and separately load them into a tray here onto this. Think of it as a tray onto this emulator for Commodore 64. And we're gonna click auto load, and here you're gonna see a bunch of games: Rambo, Red Heat, RoboCop. Let's do a Predator. Predator side 1. This is how it was back then. Tape 1, tape 2. So we're going to load the Predator side 1 tape. Now it's going to look for it. Alright. And it's going to search for it. Just like it would do with the original Commodore 64. If I had the original Commodore 64, it would be pretty much the same process. The only difference here is I'm running a much faster computer. So it's going to look for it. It's going to look for that file. See, it found it. It says Predator. And you have to click enter. Ready. Now it's going to start loading it up pretty quickly. You'll see. There, you're gonna start seeing Predator being loaded up. This is how it was done back in the days. You know, loads the tape, and the tape it's loading it via cassette player, as you will see here in a minute. But you're gonna have to rewind the tape. There's a trick. When it's load up, when it's finishing loading up, you have to rewind the tape. Okay, you have to rewind the tape, and you have to play it again, and then you can load up the game. This is how it was done. This is the process that you have to go through if you want to play Commodore 64 games. You see it's already loading it up. There's the Predator right there. It's being loaded up. I'm going to put it on a full screen mode really quick. There we go. Now this could take time depending on the software. You know, some of these softwares and how they were encoded into the zip file. It might take a while. What it's basically doing, it's communicating and it's loading it up. You know, it's using the same exact. The emulator is pretty much the same thing as the Commodore 64. It's using the amount of power it needs just to load up this game, and it will take a while because you got two tapes, tape 1, tape 2. All right, this was really this was a painful process back in the days. This is what we had to go through just to play a game, and most of the time you would get a system error. It wouldn't say system ready, and then you have to adjust the cassette player. You have to adjust the head with a mini screwdriver. It was a painful process. You guys don't realize how easy we have it now. And remember, it's loading the tape 1. The tape 1, once it's loaded, it's going to ask you to rewind. It's going to ask you to put the tape 2, rewind it, and then play it to load. And that's the only way you can get this game to work, with 2 tapes. And this is some kind of process they use in the bigger game, larger games. All right. Tape both sides, A and B, tape 1, tape 2. You know, you switch the tape to one side and to the other side. Okay. Okay, so the tape 1 has loaded, as you can see clearly here. And there's the Predator. Now, once you click acknowledge, it's gonna go back to tape 2. It's gonna ask you for a tape 2 to load up. Now it's going to ask you for tape 2, as you will see in a minute. All right. Now it's loading still, and then it's going to say tape 2. Spectrum ZX was even worse, guys. Loading the cassette tape on the Spectrum ZX was even longer. So now it's going to go ahead and ask me for a tape 2, meaning side 2 on the tape. And we're going to go ahead and load this up, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Alright, now it's going to ask for tape 2, as you will see in a minute. Wait. Now it's going to ask for tape 2. Just wait. See, rewind to start of the side 2. It means you have to flip the cassette. I'm just talking to you as if you had the original Commodore 64. So what you want to do is you want to go over here. Let me adjust this really quick, my low light. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to go right over here and click the tape and click insert the tape, and then you're going to come over here and click Predator side 2. Click on it, highlight it, and then open it. And then what you want to do is you want to click rewind. Hold on. You want to click rewind, and then click play, and then press any key. Doesn't matter which key it is. We'll do it. Alright, so here we are, man. You guys have to remember, this was a very painful way of playing these games. I mean, loading them up, though. What I'm trying to say, you know, I'm not a huge fan of like Commodore 64 in the way it was, because it really takes a long time for you to load these games up. And thank God that they came in with the cassette players, you know, after that, because that's what they had back then. But there's Predators, one of my favorite games. Oh shit, I died. Oh shit. Throw a grenade. Oh shit, I died. Oh my god. Thank you for... Well, anyway, I just want to show you a little bit of the game. I don't have time to play through the whole thing. So that's the Predator right there. That's how you do it. Tape 1, tape 2. Let me show you a little bit of ROBOCOP and Commando. Alright, this is ROBOCOP. No, ROBOCOP only had one tape. It was just put on one side of the tape, so that's cool. I'm not a huge fan of like switching between these sides of the tapes, because if it's only on one side, it loads much quicker, much faster. So this is one of my another favorites: Predator, RoboCop, and Paperboy. Obviously, this game right here, RoboCop, it was my favorite one right there as well. Choplifter, my God, there's so many. So anyway, let me show you this really quick. And this is how it is when it's loading right now. You see a little screen show up. That's how it was back then. And if you see this, then you know that your cassette is okay. You know that you're not going to have any system-ready problems, and there's not going to be any errors showing up on the Commodore 64. Okay? And this was a good sign. Means you were good to go. For those of you who had Commodore 64, you'll remember this, and you'll remember the pain and suffering you had to go through just to get a game start. Alright, so there it is. You click CTRL, and you're good to go. This is one of my favorite RoboCop games, man. It was so cool back in the days playing this. With the music and the way it moves, the way it should. It's similar to Predator, but I think RoboCop was better. Predator felt like too slow to me. And the music was cool, man. Ah, died. So that's RoboCop for you right there. Alright, let me show you Commando. This is one of my another favorites. Obviously, I don't have enough time to go through all these games. I might do a live stream, and I'm going to show you all of these games from NES and Commodore 64 and Spectrum ZX and Amiga and 3DO and all the Genesis games. But Commando was my favorite. And when you see this block loading, that means the amount of time it's left for you to load the game. Once the game is loaded, then you're good to go. You know, this is how it was back then. You know, that's just the way it was. That was the only way you can load these games before the floppy disks. Once the floppy disks came in, it was much faster with Amiga and Commodore 128, and the obviously cartridges changed the whole thing. And after that, after the cartridges, the CD came in and DVD. And then once it's done, then you got the game load up, all the blocks of whatever 300 kilobytes. And the reason I'm showing you this, I can edit this, but the reason I'm showing you this because I want you to see, for those of you who weren't born at that time, this is the process that we had to go through to play these games. It was a very painful process before the floppy disk and before the cartridges came in. Okay, this is what we had to go through. There it is. I really love this game. It's one of my favorites, man. If you guys never played this, you definitely need to play a Commando. Commando was awesome, dude. But it's been a while since I played it, you know. The music was awesome. All right, so let me show you one more game really quick by Spectrum. It's called the Jet-Pac, and let me show it to you really quick. This is from Spectrum, really quick. Let me show you. This is by Sinclair Spectrum ZX. Jet-Pac. It was a pretty good game. And that's what I used to play back in the days. Like, this is way back. It takes time getting used to this game, but once you do, believe me, it's much better. So there you go. I just want to show you this really quick. It's a Spectrum ZX game as well. All right, guys. That's all I have for you right now. I'm running out of minutes here. Thank you for watching.